Hello, and welcome to Stretch with Sydney. My name is Sydney, so just put on some comfy clothes and let's get started. So you're going to begin in easy pose, just sitting here with your legs crossed and finding a mudra with your hands, whatever you find works for you. And we're going to begin by closing our eyes and bringing our attention to our breath. The inhale and the exhale. Just slowing down and bringing in some mindfulness for your day today. If you find your mind begins to wander, always bringing it back to your inhale and the exhale. Focusing on each part of your body that's touching the ground. The sides of your feet, maybe your ankles, your sitting bones, and imagining roots growing down into the earth from these parts of your body. You are grounded. And from these roots, the earth provides you with energy for this practice. On the inhale, the energy comes up through your roots. And on the exhale, feeling the energy radiating throughout your body. Inhale, pulling in more energy from the earth. Exhale, feeling that energy throughout your body. Slowly begin to flutter your eyes open. And we're going to take our hands to the outsides of our hips. And you're going to take your right ear to your right shoulder and feel the stretch throughout your neck, maybe down even into your hand. And then coming back up, and then again on the opposite side, left ear to left shoulder. Finding what feels good for your body. In the yoga practice, it's very important for you to honor what feels good in your body. Coming back up to center. Now we're going to start by bringing our chin to the sky and then down to our chest in a yes motion. And then I invite you to hang out in a place where it maybe feels better, where you really feel the stretch. Again, honoring what your body needs and finding what feels good for your body. Each person's body is different, so honor whatever you need. Sometimes when people begin their yoga practice, they say, "Oh, I'm not good at yoga." I think the key really to that is that people associate flexibility in yoga. When I started yoga, I couldn't touch my toes. Coming back to center. And now we're going to do a no motion, going from side to side, finding what feels good for your body. Exemplifying that we are setting boundaries for ourselves, saying no to anything that does not serve us. I invite you throughout this practice to not push yourself. Find what feels good in your own body. Coming back to center now, we're going to take our left hand to our right knee, our right hand back behind our sitting bones, and we're going to twist from our stomach, then followed with our chest, and lastly followed by our head, with a spinal twist here. Remembering to breathe, and then coming back to center. Now followed with the other side, left hand behind your sitting bones, right hand on your left knee, and then twisting. Belly followed by chest, and lastly head and neck over that shoulder. If you find that this is a pose that's harder to get into, find what feels good for your body, right? So maybe your hand goes here and you just twist a little bit. You don't want to push yourself in yoga. You want to breathe into the postures and find your edge, but not push past the edge. That's really the key. And that's what makes you good at yoga. Coming back to center. And now we're going to find our way into tabletop position. Placing our hands directly under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. We're going to do what's called cat-cow position. So we're going to exhale, drop the belly, drop the chest down, and the chin comes up. And inhale, zipping up the belly button to the back of the spine, curling the spine, pushing down into the parts of your body that are touching the mat, and then bringing your chin to your chest. And continuing to follow your own breath through these poses. Not being afraid to find a more vocal breath and going at your own pace. Next, we're going to come into just our tabletop position again. You're going to tuck your toes, bring your hands one palm forward, and we're going to slowly rise up, bringing our knees up, our bottom into the air, pushing down into the mat in your hands, into your first finger and your thumb, into our first downward dog of the practice. Remembering to breathe here. And maybe pedaling out your dog, meaning bending one knee at a time. Finding what feels good in your body. Then we're going to come up on our toes, bend the knees, and slowly walking our feet up to our hands. And we're going to be in ragdoll position. So first we're going to bring some mindfulness to our feet and just kind of lift the toes up and then replant them down with them spread out and pushing into all four corners of your feet. Then you're going to grab opposite elbow with opposite hand while you're bent here and just kind of sway back and forth. This is a great low back release. And continuing to breathe. Swaying back and forth. Notice how I have a bend in my knees. This is how I get into my forward fold. Some people can have straight legs, but again, this is the practice of finding what feels good in your own body. So whatever your body needs. Releasing your hands and coming up into a halfway lift, either bringing your hands at your shins, your thighs, or the floor, making sure that your back is straight here, really finding integrity in that spine. And then exhale, forward fold, releasing the hands. And then slowly, with our feet planted into the ground, we root to rise, meaning from our roots that we've planted into the ground, slowly coming up, rising up one vertebrae at a time. Lastly, bringing our hands overhead and then to our heart in a prayer position. So I've turned to you guys now just to ensure that you're seeing the poses correctly, but I would stay still facing the front of your mat if you're following along by video. And so taking a second here again to lift our toes up, replant them down, spread them out, and really put intention into all four corners of our feet, recognizing each part of our body from our root up to our head. Breathing here, in and out. This is what's called mountain pose. Other people just think of this as standing. So if this is something that you're not, if you're just practicing yoga for one of your first times, really trying to bring some mindfulness into this. What is your body feeling? What is it communicating? How can you really make this a powerful pose? I enjoy tucking my tailbone, engaging my core, and bringing my shoulders down and back, slightly tucking your chin. And just breathing. Now we're going to swoop our arms up overhead, and I'm going to grab my left wrist with my right hand and slowly bend to my right. For a side stretch. And then coming back to center, stretching up overhead, and then opposite side, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand. And really feeling the stretch throughout your side body. And then inhale back up as you exhale, slowly swan dive forward until we're back in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, again with the integrity in the back, and then plant your hands, your feet go back, and we do what's called our vinyasa flow, so our high plank, slowly with our elbows tucked into our sides to either low plank or down to the ground. Untuck your toes, and we'll start here with a cobra pose. So rising our chest up, our nose goes straight forward, engaging in our glutes. Make it so that you could lift up your hands and still be up. So you're really engaging in the back body. And now if your hands are up, replanting the hands and coming back up into our downward dog. Remembering to breathe here. And slowly coming down onto all fours. And then coming into a seated position. So next we are going to bring our feet out in front of us. Flexing our toes toward our body. Maybe finding some yogi toes. Bringing our hands up overhead as you inhale and exhale. Forward fold with a straight spine. Here you'll really feel a stretch in your hamstrings, the backs of your legs. And when you feel like you've found your edge, exhaling, rounding the spine. Finding what feels good again for your body. So maybe your hands go all the way down here. Maybe they go to your ankles. Maybe they go to your thighs, whatever works for your body. Do not push yourself, just take yourself to the edge gently and invite yourself to breathe in that pose. Still breathing here. Ask yourself what you feel in your body. Where do you feel the stretch? Does it feel good? You should never feel any pinching or pain, and if you do, slowly take a step back from how far you've gotten into the posture. And then we come back up, and we're going to bring our feet together. Here, this is one of my favorite times to express a little gratitude to our feet, give them a quick little massage, thank them for all that they do. We don't think about them that often, but they've gotten us here. They'll take us on journeys, they'll take us through yoga, biking, whatever it may be. Even just walking, it's something we take for granted, we don't think about. So thank you, feet. And now we are going to here, slowly again, find your edge, and then lastly, bend your head into the rounded spine. It's really important here not to grab your toes and pull up. That's really not safe for your knees. So if you need some leverage, feel free to grab your feet, but not the toes. For your ankles, and just breathing here. Slowly coming back up, and we're going to release our left leg out in front of us, and either bringing our right leg up with our foot on the inside of the knee, or if this is available to you, to the outside of the knee. From here, making sure we have integrity again in our spine, and we are going to do a twist. It's called Half Lord of the Fishes. So again, we'll place our right hand behind our sit bones. Our left hand goes up into the air as you inhale, and then bringing it to hook behind our knee, the elbow. I like finding a mudra here as well to bring in a lot of intention, and then you twist from, like I said before, belly to chest, followed by head. Remembering always to breathe, especially in these twisting poses as we detox our body. Inviting in breath is very important. One last inhale, and then exhale, release. Bringing our right foot in front now, and bringing our left leg up, and our foot either on the inside of the knee again or the outside. Finding integrity in your spine. Bringing our left hand behind our sit bones, or whatever feels good for you. Maybe it's the outside of your hip. Bringing our right hand up and overhead, and then bending at the elbow, hooking that elbow, finding a mudra, and twisting from our belly to our chest, and lastly, head and neck. Remembering if your mind begins to wander, to invite yourself to come back to your breath, bringing that awareness back. And then releasing.